Hi, and welcome once again to Schenectady Online with Joe Kelleher. And I, of course, am Joe Kelleher. It's a pleasure to have you back here once again. We have got so much to talk about. It's absolutely incredible. And I'm so glad that you're here because not only am I alone tonight, but I do have a very small contingency as a studio audience here. My lovely bride, Linda, of course, and her best friend, Leela. And it's a pleasure to have them here in the studio with me. And special thanks to Randall and Randy back behind the scenes here, who really make this all happen for here at Schenectady Online and many of the SACC TV shows. So Schenectady Access Cable Council, we want to make sure that you tune in here for not only this show, but other shows as well. Thank you very much for tuning in to me. And once again, I'm Joe Kelleher. It's a pleasure to be here. The big news in Schenectady right now is, of course, the casinos. And at the last City Council meeting, during the legislative agenda, you heard, if you didn't have a chance to see, you can go to either the Schenectady City Council's website, you can go to their YouTube channel, and they've got the video from there. It was almost 3.5 hours worth of people speaking for and against. Now, there was a rally of a group of folks who were against the casino on the front steps that were down right at the bottom, and you may or may not have seen that on practically all the news channels here in the Capital District. But especially though, I did get a chance to talk to a little bit both sides of the aisle there. And the best part of that whole thing was that people were very respectful of one another's opinions. And that was probably the best part of that. And I have to compliment Peggy King, City Council President, for mentioning that about the folks, because they really were very respectful for the most part. Couple outbursts here and there, but they got controlled after a while. And you started to see the crowd dwindle out after about the first 2 hours. But those that held in there till the very end, it was very interesting to see. There were people that were there specifically and strictly for that piece, about regarding the legislative agenda on the casino bill. And lots of different discussion about that, lots of great ideas, but what we found at the very end was after that piece of the legislative agenda was done and the vote was taken, everybody left except for maybe 6 people out in the audience who held to actually pay attention to more things that were happening here in the city. So it was interesting to see how many people who said that they had concern for the city didn't stick around for the rest of the concerns of the citizens that stayed there. Inasmuch, it was interesting to see that there was one city council person, Ed Kelleher, who happened to stay for the legislative piece only. And as soon as the vote was taken, and it was a 5-2 vote with Marion Porterfield and Vince Riggi voting against it and all the others for it, that Mr. Kelleher had left. So I haven't had an opportunity to speak with him to find out why it was that he left, but for whatever the reason, to not stay there for the rest of the meeting, if you had come there in the first place, it was interesting to see why. It would be interesting to find out what it was that he had left for, if there was some other concern. I will certainly hope that he's okay, and that's first and foremost. But to leave and without the city council meeting without word, it caused a lot of questions in a lot of people's minds, and many people approached me about it. So I'll be reaching out to Mr. Kelleher and finding out what happened, and here's hoping that he is okay. That's the first and foremost. In taking a look at that, back at that meeting from the city council, you heard there was a presentation given by a lot of the churches. Pastors and reverends from some of the churches around, they sent around a petition, and that petition was signed by all of them against the putting the casino, or asking the city council to not vote in favor of the casino. And it was interesting to see that, because you have a lot of different views from the people. But the main thing that the pastors were concerned about, and the reverends, priests and such here concerned about in the city, was the element that an urban casino could possibly bring here into Schenectady. And that's a lot of the thought that's going on in a lot of people's head, a lot of the residents. As much as many people are thinking about the jobs that it could bring here, and with all due respect, it could certainly bring a lot of jobs here into the city. But a lot of those jobs are temporary. Now, when we saw the folks that were speaking in favor of the casino coming here, many of them were working for one of the labor unions here, and they were looking for the construction jobs. But what a lot of those folks may not know is those construction jobs would be there if they still decided to put in the Mohawk Harbor, which would bring in retail, as well as allow public access, really decent public access to the waterfront, as well as possibly boating there too. But those jobs are only temporary until the construction's done. Rush Street Gaming does not have any union workers at any of their casinos or any of their hotels. So that's something to be concerned about too. As much as it may bring 1,700 jobs into the area, how many of those jobs would actually stay after the facility was built? It seems that City Council really decided to rush this through to get to that June 30th deadline to make sure that they had everything into the state so that a decision could be made. So as you can imagine, there was a lot of turmoil afterward. There was a lot of questions afterward, but I do have to compliment the folks that did come out, who were very respectful of one another. There were a couple of words exchanged between people, very minor, and I say minor confrontations, but that's as far as it went. People went their own ways, they were respectful of one another, and I can't thank the people enough for being in that kind of a situation and taking care of one another and being respectful of one another. That was the most important thing. Reverend Sarah Barron, who was one of the speakers at the City Council meeting during that legislative session, legislative agenda, I should say, she's from the United Methodist Church. And one of the things that she asked was for people to put down the signs, whether for or against, people to put down their hands, and then raise their hands if they were in favor of the casino. And then for those who were not in favor of the casino, to raise their hands. The interesting part about it was she asked if for the people who were in favor of the casino to raise their hands once again, and then if they lived in the city of Schenectady, to keep their hands up. And you only saw a few hands. When she asked for those against the casino to raise their hands, they all did. And when she asked how many of you are in favor of the casino, or do not, how many of you live in the city, I should say, most of those hands remain raised. I believe, in fact, all of them remain raised. So it was interesting to see that aspect and the dynamic that was there in the room. Many of the folks who didn't want the casino were there in the room. Many who were in favor are not even from the city of Schenectady. So I had an opportunity to speak a little bit to some folks who live in the city and who this casino would impact. And I got very mixed reviews on it. I got people who would have the casino right in their backyard. And it was interesting to see that there was a small dynamic there, a very small dynamic of people from East Front Street, from the Stockade, who were in favor of the casino, but a majority of them are not in favor of having this right in the backyard. And one of the main portions of that is because there was never a socioeconomic study done, nor was there a study done by the Army Corps of Engineers or an environmental impact study. Now, in order to put anything on that site, what they would need to do is take a look at raising the floodplain. If you take a simple glass of water and you fill it up to the rim, and then you drop some ice cubes in that, what's going to happen is the cup is going to run over and the water is going to go someplace else. And that's exactly what happens, as we saw with the recent floods. There's no place for the water to go, so it has to go someplace else. And what it does with the Mohawk River is it backs up into the neighborhood, namely the stockade. What would happen is if they raided the floodplain for the casino, the water would go up even further into the stockade. It's the only place that it has to go other than cresting on the opposite side of the Mohawk River over in the Scotia area. And here Jumping Jacks gets hit once again, as well as the city, the part of Scotia that's right near the bridge. So there's a lot to look at over that way, but that impact study has never been done. And it would be interesting to see what the Army Corps of Engineers would have to say to that. Let's look into this further, and by all means, remember, the second and fourth Monday of every month is your opportunity to speak at City Council. If this impacts you, it's your opportunity to let City Council know how you feel about it and how it would impact you. In taking a look at some of the articles that were in the Schenectady Gazette, there's still no agreement between Schenectady Casino and Coalition of Arts Venues. The casino would put an arts venue right here. Would it be as large? It's not supposed to be as large as the one that we have over at Proctor's, but it still could draw business away from Proctor's. And that's one of the concerns of the folks over at Proctor's and Philip Morris, of course, who would be directly impacted by that. One of the people who would not be impacted, it seems, is Angelo Mazzone. Now, I love Angelo dearly. He's a great gentleman, and he's done a lot for the city. He's done a lot for the community. He's one of the folks, however, that would benefit by the casino for working out a deal. And that was also in there with joining forces and planning to open a restaurant right there with the casino. So that's somebody who would benefit by it. But Angelo, the difference here is that Angelo Mazzone is right here from our town. And he would benefit and he would give back directly to the community. Our tax dollars and our funding, rather, that goes to the casino and all the money that goes, let's say, to the Racino up in Saratoga, that stays here in the state because the Racino is not a true casino. The Racino has inside it right now video lottery terminals. Those are run by the New York State gaming system, the New York State Lottery. So the funding that they receive stays right here in the state. It benefits local folks. It benefits people here in New York State. Whereas any profits that are made at a casino here in Schenectady or any place else in the area would actually go into the area, especially if it were Rush Street Gaming here, the funds would go back to Chicago, and that's where they would be spent. Now, mind you, some of them may actually stay here, and there may actually be some donations, and I am not one to push away business. But this is another one of the deals that was made before it even was voiced to the people of the city of Schenectady and the surrounding area. The deals were already done, and everything was already set to go. You can see this if you take a look back at previous city council meetings and council committee meetings, those that Vince Riggi were set out of and not been a part of. The reason that you've seen his frustration on many of these occasions is because he's the only person who's not of the city council majority. He's one of the only people who's not inside that loop there and is only given things at the last minute to make decisions on. And I'm not telling you how to vote, and I'm not telling you what to do. But the only thing that I do ask is I ask that you educate yourselves. Don't even take my word for it. I want you to take the information for yourself. This is our city. These are your choices. You get the opportunities to do so. You get the opportunities to say what happens. There are only a few people that ever get up to city council meetings and let them know. Talk to the folks who are involved in your neighborhood associations. The Schenectady United Neighborhoods has a Facebook page. Central State Street has a Facebook page. Don't they? Yes, they do. Because I created it myself for my beautiful wife. There are But all these events that happen in the different neighborhoods are posted up on the Sun website, the Schenectady United Neighborhoods website. You saw Bob sitting with me here last time we were together. And we talked about some of the events happening with Schenectady United Neighborhoods. And by going back and taking a look at the video from the last City Council meeting, you'll get to hear from some of those folks and how they feel about it. You heard folks from East Front Street talk about it. You heard folks from, was it 12309, Eastern Avenue Neighborhood Association, Central State Street Neighborhood Association, Bellevue, which one was it? Stockade. We did hear a few folks from the Stockade, yeah. And I want to thank Richard over at Arthur's Market and Moon River Cafe for hosting some events down in his so that people could voice and vent their opinions and sign petitions for what they needed to do. But that's the activism. And again, and all these demonstrations and rallies and such, we always saw people of Schenectady very respectful of one another. And I can't say that enough, and I can't stress that enough. Do your homework, find out more details, ask the questions of your city council members. If you can't figure it out or you need assistance, you can contact me. And I'll tell you how to get a hold of me before we finish this show. We've got about another 15 minutes left, so I'm going to take it over to this view over this way, and we're going to talk about some of the things that are great happening here in the city of Schenectady. We're going to move these items off of the plate here, and we're going to talk about some of the events that are coming up. Now, it's tonight, I believe, that the annual summer concert series opens in Freedom Park. And if you have never been there, what a fantastic venue, right next to Jumping Jacks. They have the summer stage there with some absolutely great acts, some great entertainment, and a great opportunity for you to meet some of your friends and neighbors, not only your neighbors who are next door, but neighbors from some of the neighboring cities and towns and villages who come out to see some of these great events. Truly, truly a great team of people working over there to help make things happen. And we've always got some great sponsors too. So I've got people talking to me in the background, and it's okay to speak up so I can hear you. Last night is what? Oh, Freedom Park started last night. I beg your pardon. Okay. So, but they have things happening on Wednesdays and Saturdays, correct? So, well, you check out their schedule. Their schedule is online. If you check out Freedom Park Scotia, if you do a search for that, you'll find their information online. Let's talk about one very important event that's coming up. There is a couple that is an icon in the community here. Their names are Joey and Colleen Ferrari. They own Ferrari's Restaurant, and it is their 25th anniversary. Thank you very much for all you guys do for the community. The happiest of anniversaries to you, God bless you, and we hope 25 more years for you, and all the best. Coming up this weekend, we've got the Rose Garden Association is hosting their garden party. That's at Central Park. And it starts on Saturday at 11 o'clock in the morning. You'll see some other events going on there too that we're going to get to. But with parking over there is at a premium. So you will probably see Linda and I riding up on the motorcycle at some point during the course of the day because we've got a whole bunch of events we got to get to, including that one too. And I'll get to those in just a few moments. In as much, we've got on Friday, the 20th, tomorrow, over at Vale Cemetery, 6 p.m., there's an event honoring our ancestors. And that's along with the folks over at honoring the folks from the Underground Railroad. And there's another event coming up that I want to talk to you about too. As a matter of fact, let me get to that right now. Also happening on the Saturday the 21st is Juneteenth. It's celebrating a celebration of the end of slavery. The Emancipation Proclamation brought upon by Abraham Lincoln was, this is a celebration of that end of slavery. And for those of you who don't know, and I absolutely have to say this, remember that if you take a look at your history, Abraham Lincoln was a Republican from the Illinois area. And I'm not even going to tell you. I want you folks out there to take a look and see for yourselves how that came about, how slavery was abolished. See where the votes were that helped to make that all happen, so that you can see it for yourself and you're not getting my subjective opinion. Okay? But the whole thing starts at 11 o'clock, also at 11 o'clock in Central Park. You'll see things happening over at Music Haven. You've got a health fair going on, Taekwondo demonstrations, Zumba starting 11. The opening ceremonies there are at noon. A slew of events going on there, just fantastic. And you see that happening over at, I'm seeing two different things here. You got Friday at Vale Cemetery, 6 p.m. honoring your ancestors, and then Saturday, June 21st, starting at 11 o'clock over at the Music Haven area. One big thing that I have to tell you about, 3 of the organizations from SUN, the Schenectady United Neighborhoods, are putting on a tri-neighborhood picnic. The 12309 Central State Street and Eastern Avenue Neighborhood Associations are holding their picnic on Tuesday, June 24th. Is that correct? Tuesday, June 24th, 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And that's called Join Your Neighbors and Friends at this Summer Picnic. If you're attending, we'd like you to please bring a dish or a drink to share. If your last name starts with A through G, please bring an appetizer or snack. H through M, they're asking that you bring a salad, fruit, or vegetable to share. N through Z, please bring a dessert, soft drink, iced tea, lemonade to share. We're asking that no alcohol be brought into the area. This is an alcohol-free event, but please bring that to share. The Tri-Neighborhood Associations will supply hot dogs, burgers, rolls, and the condiments, and there will be lots of fun for you to meet your neighbors over at this event. Again, it's for the 12309 Central State Street and Eastern Avenue Neighborhood Associations. Lots of farmers markets, my goodness, in the area here, and I've got a list of them here. We've got about another 5 or 10 minutes or so, so let me get through those very quickly. This is all the news that you don't normally hear about, and I have to say that my wife and I, well, I'm the organizer, and she'll tell you that, but she really manages that calendar. We have a group called the Off the Couch Gang. It was started out in Allentown, Pennsylvania, from a group of folks that got together from different organizations and started doing fun events all over the Lehigh Valley. So I talked to them down over that way, and I said, do you mind if we use that name up over here? They were thrilled about the idea. I started it back about 3 years ago here in the area. It's the Capital Region Off the Couch Gang. You can find us on Facebook or meetup.com, but take a look for it, do a search for it. It's Capital Region Off the Couch Gang, and you'll see lots and lots of these events posted up on there too. There's one big event for the veterans that I'm going to tell you about here in just a few moments. The one big couple of farmers markets that are going on, as I mentioned. You got the St. Luke's Church going on Tuesdays from 9 to 1. Fair Avenue Roots and Wisdom Farm Stand starting July through August. That's going on Thursdays, 3 to 6, rain or shine. The Bellevue Farmers Market every Thursday. That happens 4 to 7 on Thursdays. That's on Broadway at the Maranatha Ministries facility. They accept SNAP, credit, and debit cards as well. The Schenectady Green Market, of course, goes on J Street in front of City Hall on Thursdays from 11 to 2. And they also have that going on Sundays, and that's also, I believe, from 10 to 2. Is that correct? I believe it's 10 to 2 on Sundays. Sheridan Plaza Farmers Market starts this Friday, and that goes on from 2 to 6. That continues through September. They also accept SNAP, credit cards, and debit cards. And also the Steinmetz Farmers Market. That's Steinmetz Park. It goes on, it starts Fridays in July, and details will be coming soon on that. But they've got some great music that goes on there too, as well as over at the Bellevue Farmers Market. Starting tomorrow night, the 20th, through the 22nd, St. Anthony's Feast on Knott Street. right there at St. Anthony's Church, right next to Union College. Food, music, rides, some great entertainment over that way, including, I believe, the Accents are going to be there on Sunday, or are they going to be there at all? I know Benny's going to be there, right? Benny's going to be there on Sunday. That's going to be from 5 to 8. Also on Saturday, June 28th, Schenectady Historical Society will present Canals and Roadways Coalition and Competition. That's from 2 to 4 at the Schenectady Historical Society, 32 Washington Avenue in Schenectady. They ask for a $5 donation. Julia Holcomb asked me to tell you about Camp Pattersonville. Now, Julia is going to be with me next time and here on Schenectady Online. Camp Pattersonville is an opportunity for folks, young people, to meet others. They have camping. They have some really great events going on, food, pool, so they really take care of the kids. It's located in Pattersonville, 10 miles west of Schenectady on Route 5S. The entrance is on Scott Church Road. So find out more about them. You can see that camppattersonville.org. The big event that I wanted to tell you about that's going on this weekend, my friends, is on Saturday. Big veterans event. For those of you who don't know or didn't find out yet, I'm honored to have been chosen as the new commander of the American Legion Post 1092 on Upper Union Street. And we just, as I mentioned in previous episodes, started an American Legion Riders chapter there. And our treasurer, his brother passed away. The brother was a veteran. This is the 6th annual memorial ride for Paul's Veterans Run. Registration is on Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. That goes on until you're done with the ride. Great ride all the way out to Cobleskill and back with a fantastic, fantastic opportunity for you to see some of our beautiful countryside. Even if you don't have a motorcycle and you'd like to do it in a car, it's a great opportunity and something really cool to do with your family too. All the proceeds are going to be donated to Schenectady County veterans. That's at the American Legion Post, 1092, 1809 Union Street in Schenectady. Breakfast is served there from 8 o'clock a.m. until 10 o'clock. And as I mentioned in previous episodes also, all this stuff is made to order by our veterans. So I'm one of the folks who might get out there at the grill or be behind the spatula or out there serving you as well. So I will definitely be there throughout the course of the day, as well as the Juneteenth event, the Rose Garden event, along with my beautiful wife. We're looking forward to seeing you out there too. And if you're interested in just going to the chicken barbecue, which they have, the chicken barbecue is only $10. Little John's is putting that on for us. Again, from that, all the proceeds are going to veterans right here in Schenectady County. That starts at 4 o'clock p.m. Again, that's at the American Legion Post 1092, Upper Union Street, 1809 Union Street. You can reach us there at our phone number, which of course I can't remember off the top of my head, but you can look it up online. You can see it on Facebook. It's on our website there. If you want tickets, please feel free to contact me directly. I have tickets available, and you can jot this information down. My email address is jkelleher, jkelleher, at kellehertech.us, or you can reach me at 881-6467. Again, the tickets are limited. Seating, we'll find it for you if we can't find it. So make sure you get your tickets now. If you plan on getting them there at the door, at least please contact me or contact us at the American Legion Post. Let us know that you'll be there so we can set some tickets aside for you. If you can't come and you want to donate a meal, by all means, that's welcome too. We can donate the meal to a family nearby. I also spoke with Reverend Brad Jones, who donated a couple chairs for us, about 24 chairs they donated for us. They're out in my vehicle, and they donated those. So he's going to let me know if we have any families that need meals in the area that will have these great barbecue chicken meals that we'll be able to donate out as well. Donate a meal. You can also spend $15 and donate a bin where we can use them and put them around the city and at specific events to collect your retired flags. We take those retired flags and we take care of them and retire them in a dignified fashion. And we can tell you more about that if you'd be so kind as to just give a call, ask, or stop by and let us know that you're there and tell them Joe Kelleher sent you. Well, that's all we have time for today. Come with us and see us next time, 2 weeks from tonight, when Julia Holcomb will be with me, and we'll talk about some of the events going on in the Goose Hill neighborhood. And we'll certainly have more to tell you about. I'm sure that there's going to be more happening here with the casino, more news and views from here in Schenectady. With Schenectady Online, I'm Joe Kelleher. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate you being here. Thanks again. Tell your friends to join us next time. SACC.TV. It's been a pleasure to have you. Good night.